To Mike's Miniatures, the place for all things mini wargaming, and in today's video, we are going to do a little bit of a kit bashing video. This came about because with my Argent Templars Crusade force, I've had a generic Primaris Lieutenant model, but I kind of had wanted to do a more of a WYSIWYG kind of a feel, but didn't have any extra Space Marine models in my box set at the time when I started this project. So what to do? I ended up with about a week or two ago at my local hobby shop, got the sprue out of this box set here from the Warhammer Age of Sigmar paint set, starter set here. Now, this sprue came with three Sigmar soldiers, Sigmarines as they've been lovingly called, because they basically are the fantasy version of Warhammer, but they still look almost and feel exactly like Space Marines, this faction, the Stormcast Eternals. So this sprue came with three bodies, and I just trimmed one out and put it together and figured, well, if they're Sigmarines, maybe I can make them into some Space Marines with that and see how well I can do. So as you can see, I cut out the sprue and glued him together, kind of took a look at him here and thought, well, this is a pretty dynamic pose, but those pegs aren't going to do me any good, so let's just trim off the pegs like so. And once you have these things all trimmed up nice and neat, you then gotta get your hobby knife here and then just kind of make that surface kind of flush there so that the bits from my sprue bin and bits box here will actually fit onto the model that way. And in this initial part of the video, I couldn't record the sound at the same time, so I ended up just making a quick little thing and just started taking bits and pieces that I found and liked and decided, let's see how this looks. And just kind of formulating a model within my mind based off of the pose that this body had already had. I knew that I wanted to have a power weapon for this lieutenant model that I was kit bashing, so I have a lot of power swords and figured this would be a great way to use some of these. And a lot of these power swords come from the Blade Guard Veterans box kits that we've already seen on the channel. These are just some spares from the two kits that I've already had, and I kind of just took a look at it and figured, that's what could I have with a power weapon? You could have a pistol of some sort. So just fiddling around looking for the other arm. Let's see if we could have him do like a pistol. Still keeping with the Blade Guard veteran box here, just to have the arms kind of match that way. I was looking at the stats from New Recruit, which if you haven't already done that, it's a great way to kind of test army list. And I saw that I could have a Neo-Volkite pistol, which I had a couple already inside my sprue box that actually fit. Came within that kit. So I knew I wanted to do that with a power weapon. And so I just kind of preemptively okay, if I glued this just like this, and I had it like that, I could have it like he's shooting out into the distance with his other power weapon kind of resting, so doing like a dynamic pose that way. Then starting to do the shoulder pads here, I realized, oh yeah, Blade Guard veterans, they have the smaller shoulder pad already sculpted on. So if I wanted to do a unique shoulder pad, I'd have to trim that down. And then I have a bunch of power packs. This is one that I kind of pulled out already and just kind of see how it looks on there. And as you can see, I mean, the model, the way it's sculpted, it has like the little metal abs already on there. So it looks kind of like a Sanguini Guard model, so you could definitely, with that same kit, probably make some custom Sanguine Guard for Blood Angels army that way, which is something I'll probably look into down the road. But as for right now, wanted my lieutenant, trying out a couple of different helmets, some Mark 10, some Blade Guard helmets, just trying to see which ones would work best for it from there. And then once I got that, I took one of the shields and I scraped off all of the symbolism that was already on the shield, as you can see, like it had there, just to make it blank. And I had picked out all of my bits. So there's the body, there's the backpack I settled with, and there's some of the shoulder pads that I decided I wanted to have on for this guy right here. And there's the sword arm. Here's the arm with the Volkite pistol, and the helmet I decided to go with, which was the Lieutenant version of the Blade Guard veteran there, or the Sergeant. So handy dandy super glue, because I didn't buy any of the fancy glue. And now it's first put the pistol hand in the pistol arm and just line it right up. Thankfully, since it's in the same kit, it wasn't too hard to line that up. And just wait a few seconds. It should be due, and just set it off to the side to dry. Always put the lid back on. And now, since the Blade Guard veterans have the extra shoulder pad, the regular shoulder pads won't fit over it, and I didn't have any extra bulk ones that really would fit the vibe. So I just started trimming off this extra shoulder pad with my clippers, and then using my hobby knife to thin out this section right here. And this did take me a while to get this done, but as you can see, it's just slow, shallow little cuts using the hobby knife. Be extra careful if you're cutting towards yourself, because heaven forbid you slip and then you slice your thumb open or your finger open, because that will ruin any hobbyist day when you do that one too many times, and once is already too many times. So just take it bit by bit if you were going to follow along and do something similar to this. Just trimming it down, making the shoulder thinner and thinner and thinner, and testing the fit as you go along to make sure you're not taking off too much, because if you take off too much, then you're using green stuff and or other or milliput and things like that, and could potentially make it kind of all splutchy, and it might not look right. Sometimes you can make it look right, and that's usually the preferred method to bulk things out, but in this guy's case, I didn't really want to do that. So I just kept shaving down a little more, testing the fit to see if it worked. It's getting really close there, but it's still a little too wide on that side, so let's shave it down here, kind of make it more even. And the shoulder pad, thankfully, will shield a lot of these bad scratch marks and things like that, because it'll be covered up by that. Taking our sweet time. There we go. And the shoulder is looking really good at that point. But still just a little bit more to do. It's at this point, if you're watching the video here, I hope that you're also doing some of your own kit bashing or model building or painting, because this is probably the best part about the hobby, is just working on the models like this. Taking a huge chunk of it off right here. Wanted to have it as steady as possible. There we go. Brush off all that extra, test fit. See if it kind of works. Just another little bit of plastic holding it too far forward and wouldn't make it work, so we just gotta shave it down. And basically I'm taking the entirety of the false pre-molded, sculpted on shoulder pad on there, just to make this look as normal as possible here. Shout out if you have a better tool than a hobby knife that could help drill that down and make the process go quicker. But there, you can see it almost sticks and is stuck right in, but there you go. It's all pretty good from there. So we'll get our handy dandy super glue, get that shoulder pad on there, kind of force it in, bada bing, bada boom, we got ourselves a sword arm with a shoulder pad. Now we take that same arm and just kind of dry fit to see how it will look. Trying to be extra careful with that here. It's like, should I have it was slightly angled with the sword up, sword down, kind of like it going up. So we'll just put a little bit more glue and just line it in place. And just hold it there for a few seconds because super glue takes a while to dry. And then dry fit the bolt pistol arm. And then from here, now we're going to do the same thing with the bolt pistol arm. Just kind of dry fitting it a little bit. And then it was here that you can see I started doing the exact same thing for the pistol arm, the Volkite pistol, just doing a lot of dry fitting to make sure that the weapon arm would even still fit, and kind of figuring out what position I wanted it to be in now that the sword arm is in its permanent place. And I kind of like the sell of it being like he's in a guard position and had just pulled out his pistol to start shooting. Maybe something's coming in. So, and then just kind of dry fitting the shoulder pad, because again, got the Blade Guard Veteran shoulder pad here. I was hoping rather than shave it down, can I kind of force it, but that turned out not really working out too well. So maybe if I just shaved a little bit out on the sides. See kind of how that would work for me. And that's the beautiful thing about kit bashing, is you can try and experiment all these different things and get to flex those creative muscles that you can have when it comes to these kits in 40K or fantasy or anything of that nature. It's just really a fun way to explore and be artistic in a way that you don't normally get to do with regular sculpting. And it's just, I'm one of those people that I just like having to do things with my hands. Then we just kind of keep on going with making this here. And you can see I'm just doing a really bit by bit, shaving it down, trying to save myself some steps. And just see kind of how it goes from there. A lot of shaving down of these parts here. Probably the most entertaining thing you all have ever seen on the videos, I'm sure. And it's at this point I check another dry fit, and it looks like the shoulder is going to fit very nicely right there for me. So after just eyeballing it from all angles, it's time to put down the glue. Glue on that shoulder pad. Kind of a little slippy because I took a little bit much off of it there, but it's okay. Just hold it still. Wait for that glue to do its job. Keep it steady there. This is when you have a good song stuck in your head. That glue did not want to dry at that point. It felt like it was forever. So we'll just add a little bit more glue in the open spaces there, and just kind of hold it there with one hand, knock the camera a little bit. Realize it almost got stuck on my finger there. And just like that, the shoulder pad is set. And we kind of dry fit it and position it to how we will want it. Realize it won't fit, so I have to make this surface even flatter. Gluing it on there. And it's literally a game of patience when you're waiting for glue like super glue. I know that there's some fancier glues out there that helps melt the plastic just a little bit so it has a stronger bond than super glue, but I've never been able to get a hold of any of that. I'm sure I could probably get it on Amazon, but as you can see, the arm just falls off if I'm a little too anxious for it right there. So literally, patience is the key, and then just kind of dry fitting on where the pack is, and just let it kind of do its thing. Hold the arm in place, knock it out, take a second. Figured I'll just start with the backpack then, since I can't keep the arm on. Then I can adjust the backpack to the arms and kind of make it into the leaning position that he's kind of doing, like he's preparing for a charge and drawn out his weapon, both weapons now. Now, to do WYSIWYG, I know I wanted to have the storm shield, so I'm going to be finding a place for the storm shield, probably on the backpack or somewhere on this body, to make it look like he just put down the storm shield and he's preparing to do a running charge at the enemy. So, getting that stuck on my fingers, had to break it off of my fingers and then reset it back into place. Because the downside with the super glue, especially these little kits, is sometimes you pour a little bit too much on there. But once it sets really well. And then get the arm back on there. I know it was still kind of not dry, so I knew if I stood there, it should have a bit more sticky. And just kind of seeing why won't it stick there. And realized, oh, it's that little shoulder shield that they have here, that circle bit, that's not letting it stay flush. So I just decided, well, let's just shave that down a little bit, make it look a little awkward. The shoulder pad should help cover that, and I was right. As I put that in there, it just kind of held its place. And you just kind of line it up, try to let the glue do its job. And there you have it. We have the model all nice and neat. And now comes the fun part of putting on the helmet for this poor guy. He needs to be able to see where he's going. And I gave him the knight-looking helm with the Blade Guard veteran sergeant, and because this guy is a lieutenant and he needs to have the markings of a lieutenant with the little skull here. Then obviously, since he's drawn his pistol, we need an empty holster, which I had plenty of that fit the size. So it's just take the super glue, put it on the spot where I wanted it, and just set it there. And once it can kind of hold itself, it's leave it alone. Just leave it alone, Mike. And then take I'm taking the extra ammo pouches and that, and I'm just kind of dry fitting, making sure I gave it enough space, which I did. So now I just clean up any of the mold lines and the sprue ends that I don't like on that. And then pick up the model, line it up by putting the glue in the spot where it wants to rest, right there along his belt. Get it in the right position, and then just kind of gently push it on into the glue. And here it's like, okay, my glue is drying up. I didn't give enough. Just put a little bit and have it at an angle so the glue would flow into the empty space to help hold it there. And I use my hobby knife there to kind of help clean up a little mold line that I saw there and to push the belt pouch right into place. And there you go. Then I started looking at the little bits of purity seals and things like that. And the shield was dry fitting it on. Where could I fit it on the backpack? Right here. And I decided rather than do it on the backpack, I figured if he's in the middle of combat, let's have him like grab the sword with his hand, drop the shield, but have it be like it's held on by like a invisible, unseen shoulder strap or whatever, so it's hanging down his side like that, like we've seen some rifles and that do with some intercessor marines. So that way he has it just like that here. And then it's just finding the spots. I got the shoulder shield to clean up that little trim spot right there, and it's hard to get, remembering to keep the super glue in its proper place, and remember give it time to dry, because I get so anxious with these things. Clean up the little bit, a sprue bit mess right there from super glue, holding it into place. It eventually did take a while, but this shield did eventually stay in its spot. I am just not very patient of a hobbyist, because sometimes I like to have it there. So while it's sitting there drying and I'm cleaning off the excess glue that was off of my fingers there, I'm taking a look at the shoulder pieces, making sure I have plenty of the purity seals I'm going to add on to kind of cover up some of my glue mess here. And I'm lining up how I want to have this shoulder piece kind of fit. And because I want it to rest on that little circle shield right there. So it's like a Blade Guard veteran kind of a shield. And it looked like that was a good spot, but I'm going to kind of speed up here. Just dry fitting to see if I can even get it to fit there. And it looks like I did. There went the shield again, and there goes the little shield. So it's like, okay, one more time. I'm not going to be over anxious here. I'm going to let it go. Tap, 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 tap. And eventually I got the shoulder shield on and some purity seals on in different places, like on the shield itself and that, as you can see in these pictures. And once they were in, I just did the final basing, which is just some sand before I primed it. And that was basically how you would kit bash this and clean up a little bit of the mold lines and features with it there. But tell me what you guys think about this little kit bash. Do you like kind of how this model is turning out? I will probably do a video of me actually painting this guy up, along with some of the other videos of me assembling some more models as they come along my way. Until next time, I appreciate you taking the time. I'm going to have some links down in the description, affiliate links with Amazon for some Space Marine kits and things like that if you're interested in that. But until next time, guys, I've been Mike, and this is Mike's Miniatures, and bye-bye.